Hello and welcome to Cinebuck Presents, where I give my $2 instead of my 2 cents. As someone who grew up with the Garfield comic strip, as well as the Garfield and Friends TV series that came out in the late 80s and early 90s, I actually did not set very high expectations for this animated adaptation, though I figured it could be a little bit better than the live-action movies that came out years before. After checking it out, my prediction was pretty much right on the nose. In this version, we find out that Garfield has a father named Victor, or Vic for short. Supposedly, Vic had abandoned Garfield when he was a young kitten. We are also introduced to a female white cat named Jinx. Now, Vic had double-crossed Jinx years before, which resulted in her being at the pound during all that time. She wants personal vengeance, so she demands from Vic a bottle of milk for every day that she had spent at the pound. That's over 1,600 bottles of milk. Both Garfield and Vic have 72 hours to pull off a heist at a place called Lactose Farms in order to complete that task. As you can probably guess, the plot to this movie is pretty basic and somewhat typical. When I first saw the trailers, I figured this movie would at least be serviceable in terms of entertainment value. After finally seeing it, it turned out to be a little mediocre than that. Even with the decent animation, the fast-paced humor, and a few wholesome moments, they simply were not enough to save the weak and semi-predictable script that's saturated with such zaniness, in an attempt to be an epic action-adventure flick that's mainly geared towards kids. At the same time, it seemed to lose that luster that made the comic strip both humorous and enjoyable to begin with. Granted, I could see how it was trying to go for some flexibility in Garfield as a character, but still, it seemed to kind of go against what was already established in the comic strip. Frankly, I'm not even sure what the creator of the comic strip, Jim Davis, was thinking in allowing his creation to end up the way it did in this movie. At least it appears more tolerable than the live-action movies. Despite being slightly cute, I would overall say that this comic strip adaptation's probably worthy enough of an easy skip. On a scale between 1 and 10, I would give this film a 5.5. This is Renton Whitetail having given his $2 and signing off. I'll see you next time. Take care.